If you resonate with any of this video was for you, and don't you fucking dare click off, because this is what you've been searching. These are the answers, and I don't hear this shit often or anyone speak about, because this is really hard to achieve, yet I went through the trouble to get these insights, to present them to you, and then for you to click some shit into your place and get a better life. So listen, do you keep procrastinating? Do you feel not good enough? Do you keep doing things that you know are bad for you, but you're like, Do you feel like a huge amount of pressure crushing you every day? Do you feel stuck? Do you feel like a failure? Does putting any kind of effort feel like so fucking hard? Does life feel meaningless? Do you feel behind? I think I've said that one, I don't know. You keep quitting on your dreams and you're restarting, you keep quitting. Does making mistakes feel so heavy? Does this resonate with you? I've been going deep, questioning why do I feel this way? My entire life I've been reading, watching, journaling, and this is what helped me. And trust me, I am so much more happier with my life, and now doing hard things is sort of easy, and I feel a lot better with my life. In this video, I'll give you tools, insights, perspectives, books, videos, channels, everything you need to actually heal yourself. You can heal this. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You can heal this. It just takes a lot of work. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Let's begin. There's gonna be timestamps. If you don't like anything I'm saying, keep skipping forward, because everything I'm saying here is gold. So let's dig in. First, I'm gonna explain the core principles that just by understanding them alone will solve a lot of your issues, and you'll be thinking about life a different way. First thing that you need to understand is ego. My friend, you are a creature. Any living being has this, and it's an ego. What does that mean? You're the most important thing to yourself, and you'll do anything to survive, even if it means making you unhappy and miserable. As long as you survive, that's what matters. Your brain will find brilliant ways to cope with things that you couldn't handle. Your brain will make beliefs. Your brain will try to avoid the thing that happened to you no matter what. It's brilliant. Why? Well, because ego is the most important thing to itself. Because if it wasn't, well, you wouldn't even eat, you wouldn't even breathe, you wouldn't even try to reproduce. So basically, ego is your purpose. Without it, you're gonna be super depressed. What is ego? You're speaking about ego, always that when people, trying to act cool and all that shit? No. Ego is you, your identity. You have a name, right? So let's see, my name is Lucas. Lucas is my ego. This is my identity. My beliefs are this, and that, right? I know that I'm a ginger. I know that I have a tattoo. Basically, this is what makes me me. So if you come telling me, hey, look, you don't have a tattoo, I'll say, no, that's bullshit. I have a tattoo. This is me. Don't you dare fuck around with my sense of identity. Good example, if I called you a ginger fuck, you're a fucking ginger. I know, projecting, sorry. And you sit there and you don't care, what? I'm not a ginger, I don't care. But if you are, you feel hurt. Well, because you identified, you took it personally. So it's all about you. It's all about you. All the fucking time. You are only interested in things that benefit you. For example, if somebody yaps about themselves, you're so bored. Because it has nothing to do with you, right? But as soon as they mention a topic that you're interested in, you're like, oh, I'm interested now. Because you're the most important to yourself. You are selfish in that way because you think everything revolves around you. And that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be. Don't feel bad. But if you wanna, and I warn you, this is super deep stuff and it might fuck you up forever like it did me, but I think it's the best fuck up I ever gotten. But trust me, this is dangerous stuff. There's a channel called actualize.org and it speaks about really heavy and big shit like ego. Be very careful, but I think it's beneficial and healing to becoming something more than just a mindless monkey who's just running around and eating and trying to gain. Once you realize that you're so selfish, you want to become selfless because again, you want to feel important. So you're like, I'm not like everybody else. I'm going to do the opposite because I'm more better. I'm more important than everybody else. It's always ego. No matter what you do, it's always ego. The only way to actually not have an ego is to die. And I don't want you to die, so enjoy this fucking life because it's super rare that you're here. How do we even have an ego? Well, you learn to have it, actually. If we delete your past right now, everything you know, all the memories you have, you wouldn't even know your name, you wouldn't know how to walk, you wouldn't even understand that you're human. So, knowing this means that what have you become is because of your past experiences. So if you want to heal and understand what the fuck happened to you, you go back in time and you, as early as you can remember, and see what damaged me, what happened to me. Because we were born blank slates. We didn't even know how to speak, for fuck's sakes. So you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You've just been damaged by life. Now, how does an ego feel important? Sorry, let me just... There you go, beautiful propaganda. So how does ego feel important? Like, what does it need to feel important? What does ego need to survive? Well, it needs safety. Remember this. Every single word I'm gonna say, remember this, because this is your key to understanding why you behave the way you do. Safety, which means being comfortable, being able to recognize what's happening around you, seeing patterns, feeling not threatened, not in danger. So this is super important because this explains every single behavior you have. And love, which is validation, acceptance, approval, respect, praise. Basically, these things are love. So these two are super important to the ego. And if it doesn't get it, well, you're gonna get an unhealthy ego. For example, a very good example is depressed people. They have unhealthy egos. They don't care about themselves enough to be healthy. But one of the principles that I spoke about is gonna apply here, which is survival. If you're gonna drop a depressed person into an ocean and he begins to drown, no matter even if he says that he wants to die and he truly believes in his heart that I just want to die, they will try to swim because, super important insight, you do not want to die. What you want to kill is the pain inside. You want to kill this, not yourself. Because if somebody said, hey look, you're gonna take away all of your pain and you're gonna be happy, of course you're gonna do that. Because of the pressure and the heaviness, you want to die, not because you hate yourself. And there's reasons why you hate yourself. And then we come to the second part, which is trauma. Our favorite little buddy here, huh? Right away, I'm gonna give you a book to read. It's huge as fuck. And if you're brain fried, well, you gotta push through this because there's gonna be answers that you need. I don't remember the name, but there's gonna be right now a book cover of it, the author, everything. Read that fucking book because once I read it, I started healing. I started understanding the patterns I was in. Right here, I'm gonna speak about it, but not as in depth as that book is. Please go read it and it will make so much sense why you behave the way you do. So, trauma. Oh boy. You've been stuck. It's like somebody took a photo of you and now you can't get out of the photo. Trauma happened, they took a picture of you and now your entire life is just this one picture. You're not changing, you're not a video, you're a picture. And nothing's changing because you're stuck here. Some people act like children because maybe they have been traumatized as children and they can get out of it. Yes, the body grows, but the mind does not. So you gotta grow your mind. People are afraid to express their pain because they think it's not good enough of a pain to express. Every pain is valid. For example, even if you were a kid and somebody took your lollipop away and that fucked you up for months, that is valid. That is trauma. It doesn't need to be like, oh, I saw my buddy in war just explode in a million pieces and I was covered in blood. No, that is trauma, yes, but you don't need to go to such extremes. Even simple things as neglect, which are not that simple to be honest, being deprived of attention, that can mess you up for your lifetime. If you don't take action, if you just coast through life and say, oh yeah, time will heal. I don't know who the fuck made that quote, but I'm gonna smash them in the face. That's the most bullshit quote I ever heard in my entire life. No, time does not heal. You just start forgetting it and then it just becomes subconscious. And then when there's a thing that reminds you of that pain that you had, you're gonna ignore it, you're gonna push it away, you're gonna escape it. And then you might not know why. For example, you have an amazing girlfriend, boyfriend, right? They're giving you all the love, everything's fine, but you're you want to push them away. Something in you screams, get the fuck away, even though your brain says, hey yo, everything's fine, what the fuck are you doing? That might be a trauma response. Okay, we're getting too technical now. Let's go back and look, what is trauma? Trauma is an event that hurt you really deeply, and now your brain is gonna do everything to stay away from it, not see it, basically just cope with it. We haven't been given the tools to deal with our trauma, so how do we deal with them? Well, pleasure, comfort, avoidance, fantasies. What do these look like? Comfort would look like repeating the same thing over and over again. Because even if it's destructive, at least it's safe. At least you know the outcome. At least you know what is going to happen. We might pick up a habit and do it and do it and do it. Even though it destroys us, at least we are safe in it. At least we know what's going on. At least we can predict it. At least we are in control of it. Your ego wants control. It's super important. If it's not in control, it's going against its belief that it's important, you know? So it has to be in control. How it cannot be. So this is why people get offended easily, because if one person offends another person and that person sees that as a trauma trigger response, they're gonna become angry. Why? Because they want control back. You're not gonna push me around. Who the fuck do you think you are? They're hurt. Okay, sorry, tangents, but ramble. Trauma. Let me be personal, and I'm gonna open up. And I'm gonna explain how this shit works and what does the ego do to cope with it unconsciously. One way to heal is to be aware of what you're doing and why are you doing it and how it works. If you can name the problem, or you can name the feeling you've been having for 10,000 years, you already have released half of the baggage inside of you. So let me tell you what bullying did to me, because I mean, I'm a ginger, obviously I'm different, people whatever. So, and the way I coped with it was being angry. Well, because you made me feel powerless, and ego does not like that. It wants to feel important, right? So how does it deal with it? By being angry. If you're angry, this applies to you no matter what. If you're angry, you're trying to defend yourself, because if anything ticks you off even slightly, you're gonna become angry because, oh shit, this thing might potentially hurt me. I need to get my defense on. So you attack it right away so it couldn't attack you first. Now your ego is so damaged because you've been beaten, you've been pushed away, you've been like basically made into nothing. So from this, you're trying to get back up. You're trying to show control, and by being angry, it gives you power. Being angry is a shield. You push people away. You attack them. You hurt them. To push them away. Even if you don't want to. Some shit happens and it's so small and it triggers you, and you do this action of anger and you're like, fuck, why did I do that? Now I hurt my loved one, or I hurt somebody that I care about. And you can't control it. Why? Because there's something in you making you feel small and weak. If you feel small and weak, anger will always be the response to deal with it. Another thing, how you deal with it, is control. You try controlling what other people think about you. So now the best tool for that is perfectionism. If I'm perfect, nobody can hurt me anymore. If I try my best, if I outdo every single one of you fuckers, I'm gonna be the best. And then the best, well, you look up to me then. I have the most power. I have the most control. If I'm the most charismatic, I can make sure that people won't treat me anymore the way they treated me before. I can control the situation. And this ties in with anger. If you feel out of control, your first response is gonna be anger. For example, if there's a fly flying around and you get angry and you want to like swat it down and you're not successful, you get angry. Or something doesn't go your way, you become angry. Like road rage is feeling out of control. Feeling like you don't have control over the situation, so you become angry to become more powerful. Like, what the fuck? This situation is making me feel small and weak. I will show you that I'm important and powerful to overcome this. It's a protective mechanism, because the ego needs to be important, and you're selfish. You'll do everything. Even if you hurt others, you're gonna get your way because you're fundamentally selfish. Everything you do in your life is to advance you, maintain your image, or make you feel important. Everything's selfish. Everything you do right now. I'm sitting here speaking to the camera. This is selfish. how is this selfish? You're helping people. Yeah, well, I help people because I think that's important. Because based on my beliefs, based on my experience, I'm like, okay, helping people is important. That makes me feel good. So I'm gonna do it. By making these videos, I'm thinking, okay, somebody will watch. I'm important enough for people to watch me. That's also selfish. Everything comes from the ego, because without an ego, you wouldn't be able to experience this reality. If you just take out your eyes, ears, everything, and your brain, you wouldn't be able to even comprehend this reality. So your ego is the center of everything. So if anything that is going on inside of your life that you don't like, always look inward. Always say, how does this relate back to me? Amazing, great. Sorry, I just need to praise myself because that was great. I need to feel important too, you know. Anyway, so another thing that I developed was feeling hopeless and powerless. Because look, when people bully you, they take your importance away. They're in charge of you, in a weird way, right? They say, I'm better than you and I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want with you. And what does ego want to be? Important. Exactly. It wants to be important. So that does not vibe with you and it hurts. Anything that makes you hurt means it threatened your safety or your survival, which basically is just survival. For you to develop normally. For me, I was like a joyous kid. I could make friends with anything. I got bullied after that. I closed off. I didn't speak to anybody. People gave me social anxiety. Why do you think social anxiety is like a thing? Well, because people have hurt you and your brain is actively saying to you, you're around people. Remember what happened before? People might hurt you again. Be fucking careful around these people. So when you go out in public, it's a minefield in your brain. It's like, fuck, we are repeating the same situation that happened to us a while back that hurt us. We do not want to be here because the pain might repeat. You get the fuck away, you become antisocial, you try not to hang out with people. This is how I solved my social anxiety, because I was like, I go out in public and I have this crushing feeling on my chest. Why? Because being in public was dangerous. For me, for my ego, for my importance, for my survival, because fuck, if people start bullying me again, well, that does not feel good. I got shivers, so I hope this resonates. Hope I healed your social anxiety. Nobody speaks about this shit. Bro, just be more confident. Shut the fuck up. Oh, bro, there's nothing to worry about. Everyone's your friend. Good advice, but go deeper. We go deeper. We ask why in this bitch. We ask why. You ask why from now on. That's also a great tool. Always ask why. Always, with everything. How, what, when, everything. Ask questions repeatedly. It will drive you insane, but trust me, your life will become much more better. You will become much more wiser. Now, another thing that comes in is overthinking. Yes, do ask why, but do not overthink. What is overthinking? That was one of my coping mechanisms as well. Overthinking is basically trying to predict the future for any potential danger. You always try to think of scenarios where you could get hurt, or where it's not safe so you could avoid it. You're trying to think of every single scenario so you could be in control. Yes. See how all of this relates back to each other? Like it feeds off of each other. It's a huge web. If you dismantle one, most of these weaken as well. So you become more looser. And some things that used to bother you before, they just vanish. And you're like, how, why, how did this relate? Then you must ask why did this go away after I realized this? And you're like, oh shit, right, because I want to control and because of this and this and that. However, I forgot to speak more about the powerlessness. This fucks you up for any potential growth. Whenever you don't feel in control, whenever you don't feel powerful, you will try to run away. So whenever it's too hard, for example, taking care of yourself feels such a huge task if you're super depressed because you feel powerless. Something really fucked up happened to you where it took your power away and now you're suffering from that. Your brain is like, okay, whatever situation makes you feel weak, another very important thing, weak, powerless, not in control, escape it no matter what. So for example, making mistakes, it's legit. Mistake is looking you in the eyes and saying, you're a fucking dumbass. You don't understand this. And then you're like, yeah, I don't understand this. Fuck. This feels impossible. This feels overwhelming. Too much. Why is it too much? Why some people can do this and they're excellent at it, and then you struggle at this thing? Because the way your brain reacts to it. Your brain is reality. What kind of beliefs you have from the trauma. It's like, oh, I'm weak, I'm powerless, I'm not in control. All of these things are going to influence your reality. Yeah. Like, I mean, come on, think about it, right? You went through this horrible event, you become depressed, and now life doesn't seem that sweet anymore. Even though the house is the same, the reality is the same, the people are the same, but you've changed. So your reality changed. Change your mind, change your reality. Are you getting this shit? Yeah. Coming back to the growth, because whenever you don't feel important, powerful, or in control, that triggers your brain to remember that fucking thing that happened to us. This might happen again. This is associating with this. This is why sometimes things that don't even make sense are like triggering, but they do make sense because they're playing by these fundamental principles of like control, feeling important, being powerful, loved, safety. They actually do this. And then we're like, okay, I don't want growth because that's so hard. That makes me feel weak and small. Now, speaking about small, fourth coping mechanism, fourth thing that has been installed in me was, if you feel small, make yourself big. Make yourself as big as possible. Be the smartest. Be the most rightest person. Have the most knowledge. Be the most athletic. Be the most best. Another fucking principle that you must understand, that there must be balance. It's super important. Because if you have one extreme, on the other hand, you can predict what's on the other side. You know, like good versus bad, cold versus hot, that type of shit, right? So this really helps you. This is a tool, by the way. It's very easy to identify what you lacked, maybe. For example, you wanted love, so what happened to you? You might have been rejected or not accepted, pushed away, neglected, bars. And then if you just feel neglect and, rejection, if you fear that, well, what do you do to neglect this? You want love. So this is a good tool to understand what the fuck is happening. I used to think, I'm better than PewDiePie. And that might seem like disgusting for you from the outside. But I was like, what the fuck is he doing? I could do this better. Well, because for me, it was really important to prove to myself that I'm important by beating this giant of a YouTuber. Because I needed, so badly to prove to myself that I'm important, that I'm valid, that I have some sort of power. And also, I was trying to prove myself. I am here, I'm important. Like, I can do this, respect me. Why is reality treating me this way? I'm gonna prove to reality and people and whoever hurt me, or the most importantly, the pain inside of me, that you are bullshit. I'm gonna go through this. At least that's my experience. There's another tool that I could give you is that when you do dig deep inside of yourself, remember that these core principles do apply to everyone, but how you experienced your trauma and the way you understood it really differs. But using these tools, you can get really good results no matter what. Anyway, so then I made my mission to beat PewDiePie, basically. Right? And it hurt every single time I was proven wrong in a way, right? Like, I suck at this. That's why mistakes felt so heavy, because I can't get out of this hole. I think that reaching something outside like 100 million subscribers, this is back when it was 2013 when he used to play Happy Wheels. I don't think he had 100 million subscribers, whatever, but he was the biggest, was the way to doing something outside will heal the inside. That's not how it works. That's why often millionaires are still fucking miserable after achieving all their goals and successes, right? I think you can relate to this. If you're productive as fuck, actually, that's also a coping mechanism, because you're trying to be good enough. You're trying to please people by saying, look, I've done all these things. Can you love me now? Look, I'm amazing. I'm perfect. Yet you feel like shit and horrible inside because you are fake right now. Anyway, tangents. I just fucking love speaking about this shit. And if you're productive, if you reach any goal, for example, like getting abs You're like, oh my god, this is gonna make me feel better, right? I'm gonna be enough. No, this is why people get plastic surgery, because they're not in peace with themselves inside. Something inside is telling them to do this stupid shit, to go change your appearance. That's why I got a tattoo. I want to appear cool, la la la, whatever the fuck. Now it's a permanent reminder of my stupidity. So you achieve this thing and you don't feel fulfilled because there's a black hole always demanding more no matter what you fucking do. You can reach 100 million, 100 billion, but if that pain is inside of you, it's never gonna stop. I believe Genghis Khan felt very weak and small. That's why he wanted it all to prove to himself something. Same with all the leaders, same with all the people who are super productive. They're trying to prove something to themselves. Maybe that they are enough, right? And recently I've learned also that if you don't feel enough, that's not the answer. People always gonna tell you, oh, it's because you don't feel enough. You don't feel good enough. Well, but why don't you feel good enough? What is the reason? What is the root of the problem? Another thing, always try to go for the root. Always. Because if you just go up and, pluck the leaves off of a tree, the tree won't fucking disappear and won't stop growing. This is what people do with like skincare and like looks maxing and going to work out. All of that shit is vain. Everything is outside. See, you're doing everything outside. Maybe once you go to the gym, you develop some discipline, you fight a war with yourself and you come to realizations. Yes, gym works because you went inside and because you went through some shit and you thought about this, what's going on inside of your mind. That's the only reason why it worked. That's why marketing works so well, because they play on your fears. So if you want to be actual unstoppable, but why do you want to feel unstoppable? Ask yourself that. Well, because you might feel weak. To be unstoppable, you actually need to remove anything, any bad feeling, any negative or any insecurity out of yourself, and no one can manipulate you ever again. Fifth thing, sixth thing, I don't know how to count or remember, is then you start chasing love and approval. If these people tell me that it's okay for me to exist and I'm not a piece of shit, that's all I ever want. But you understand that if you keep going and trying to get it over and over again, that validation feeling, it won't ever heal. Again, outside versus inside. What you need is to patch up the hole here, because it will keep asking for more. For example, some people get shamed and then they think they're bad and they start damaging themselves. They punish themselves. I'm bad. That's how most people parent their kids, shaming them. Like, oh, stop doing this, stop doing this. You gotta do what I ask to earn my love, and if you don't, well, you're a bad kid. Shaming them. So people pleasing is super normal, because if you want love, if you want to be accepted, you gotta people please. Let's talk about people pleasing. People pleasing is almost like asking permission to exist from other people, because you don't feel safe just doing it, just being yourself right away. You're like, please, can I be myself, right? Do I have permission to laugh, to do this? Also, it feels super fucking safe. It feels very safe to just follow other people, because then you don't fuck up, you don't make mistakes, you don't feel guilt and shame. These two are massive. You gotta ask yourself, do I feel shame for something? And why do I feel shame? What's happening? Do I have guilt for something? And am I punishing myself for that guilt? Because I've done that myself. I'm like, okay, look, now you have to earn love. Now you have to be perfect in these people's eyes so they could forgive you. So they could give you permission to be yourself. And if they say no, well, I'm bad. I gotta become better. I gotta improve. Where the fuck does this not good enough feeling comes from, right? It's from a scenario where your brain can't comprehend what's happening. So its default mechanism is to say, oh, maybe I'm the problem. Because, well, ego is always going to assume that it's the most important. And it's always going to take any sort of thing that is happening and apply it to yourself. Man, the world treats you like shit Because you are supposed to be loved. Your parents gave them this bullshit and they didn't heal it. They just ran with it with their entire lives and they passed it on to you. So now if you don't do anything, you're gonna pass it on to your children and it just will continue until the end of time. If nobody has the balls to stop and actually say, what the fuck is going on? You know? Why do I scream at my children? Why do I hate them or something? So if a kid doesn't feel love, it starts to assume that there's something wrong with me. And it doesn't even have to be a kid. It can be adults. If somebody breaks up with you, if somebody rejects you, you immediately think, what's wrong with me? I'm not good enough. Immediately, right? You're not like, oh yeah, they're not capable of love because you don't understand this knowledge. Why do we do that? Why do we immediately say, oh, okay, well, I'm not good enough? Because ego does not like to be without control. It does not like not feeling important or the center of the universe, right? This is why when you have an ego death, your entire world collapses because, well, yeah, that's how you operated your entire life. Me, I am the most important. And then you're like, no, you're not. And it's like, fuck, it hurts. I'm not. What? So then the mind immediately says, what can we do to make sure we still feel in control? Because we need to. Well, what can I absolutely control? My body, my mind. Okay, so I'm gonna install this belief, well, I'm not good enough. At least I can do something about it now. At least I can control myself and, you know, I leave everything up to me. That's where hyper independence comes from. People have hurt you and now you can't trust them anymore to help you out because, you know, people are the enemy in your mind. Well, this is the source of pain, you gotta stay away. So hyper independence, you start doing everything yourself. You don't ever ask for help because, well, you can get burnt again. If you've been betrayed, cheated on, lied, these things make you hyper independent. That makes you a lone wolf with a furry suit. And if you got offended by that, well, I triggered something in you that made you feel hurt. And now you want to attack me because you want to defend yourself. You don't want to feel small or weak, dismantled. Like always, your ego is the most important to you. And if you have this hyper independence and not feeling good enough, just know it wasn't your fault that the strangers or the people around you didn't know how to love you. We're all fucked. Mentally, emotionally, nobody gave us the tools to understand ourselves. Nobody reads books about emotional intelligence, right? Sometimes somebody pops out of the fucking vagina and they're like, hey, look, I'm emotionally smart and I kind of think different than others, right? That's it. That's how we get lucky. Everything else is just wants us to suppress us or make us dumb. Like, come on, look at TikTok. Look at the most shallow, generic shit. Look at the surface level stuff you can do in humanity. Strip clubs, casinos, partying, drinking, all of this numbs you. Because if you do realize what the fuck is going on within you, you're gonna control yourself. Then you're gonna become smart. And then they can profit off of you. We don't want you smart. We want workers. That's also depressing, but very nice to realize. There's people who try to be different, try to be special, try to not follow the herd. And the funny thing is, well, that's another coping mechanism. This is what I'm doing, I feel like, still. Because I want to be special. I want to be important, right? If I'm not like everybody else, then I'm important. I have more value. You're trying to get value so people could look at us and give us the attention that we want and the love and the acceptance and the approval. So then people dye their hair, get tattoos, do different shit to try to be quirky, funny, different, trying to stand out. Why? Because they need attention. Annoying people need attention. Trolls need attention. People who hate on you need attention and love. That's why they're doing it. Why they're being annoying? Well, when you annoy people, you're at the front of their mind and you get full attention. You get full attention by doing that. That's why people do that. Hurt people need love. And it's very hard to give because you're selfish. You're like, fuck, this motherfucker hurt me. And now I gotta give them love? How does that work? See? Well, it's hard to imagine that when you have selfishness inside of you. Okay, if I haven't mentioned, if you want to go deeper into emotions and how your beliefs from traumas work, search up Dr. K or Healthy Gamer, GG. Because, well, I'm not a gamer. I don't give a fuck about that. No, but the way he interviews people and the way he dissects them is insane. You will see real time people's beliefs being dissected, and most of those beliefs are ours. It's how most of our, like a lot of our brains work. So go to Dr. K, watch the interviews, even if they're gamers, trust me, it's a pot of gold. He's gonna use some lingo that you don't understand if you're not a gamer, but it's definitely worth it. There's such thing as ego backlash. If you're productive, if you're journaling and you still watch this video, thank you, is that once you surpass your comfort zone, like way beyond, when you actually push yourself through the fear and you get beyond where you feel safe, your ego is like, what the fuck are you doing? This is working. You're safe here. We feel important. We get all the nutrients, love, attention, support, all of this shit. And yet you want to go there. That's not safe. I'm scared. Come back here. And it pulls you back with addiction, with old habits that you had, like coming back to zero where you started. It's just comfy. It's nice. So the comfort zone, that's why it's so hard to escape. Because your ego does not feel safe. Your identity is trying to be the same because, well, identity is very important to itself. So if you start fucking it up and you don't understand who you are anymore, well then that's a no-go. You gotta stay yourself. And why can't you move beyond it? Because beliefs inside of your head are pulling you back, right? For example, if you want a successful life, but if you keep telling yourself, I'm a piece of shit, I don't deserve anything, will you reach it? No. If you keep talking bad to yourself, will you love yourself? No. If you've been abandoned many times and neglected, do you think that you deserve love? No. That's why it will be hard to accept love, accept compliments, and actually believe people who actually love you. Then there might be this belief that I must earn love. So whatever you do, oh yeah, you praise me for this thing that I haven't tried for, so I'm not gonna accept it. But once I work really hard for this thing, I want everyone to applaud me. So the beliefs are your limitations. If you say yourself, I can't do this, you're right, you can't. You will never do it because you just blocked off the road that you could have went through to get there. Your beliefs are the most important thing you hold in your mind. What do you believe about the world? And why do you believe it? How does it benefit you? That's how you ask why. You just don't ask why and be like, oh yeah, this. No. Every single thing you're doing reflects who you are. Everything. Even me right now sitting, being this way. Your space reflects you. Your people, your family, your friends. Everything is reflecting you all the fucking time. You just need to look. Everything is a mirror. For example, even the design I made for the hoodie. Look, it says inside, the topic of the video. See? Even the design, like, what is it about? It's about quotes, it's about wisdom, it's about not quitting and keeping the going. Because this is who I am. This is me, this is my design, like eyes and all this powerful shit and the quotes. Yes, this is a shameless plug right now because I think I give you enough value for you to, not be selfish and actually like listen to me a little bit. So these hoodies, I made them to help people once again. So when you wear this and somebody reads the back, like you can right now, they might read a quote that might inspire them to do something great with their life. Because some people will never ask themselves, why am I fucked up? Some people just go through their entire lives, like your parents or your parents' parents, and not ask a thing, right? They're gonna get comfortable. They're not gonna push more because once you feel pain or any discomfort, you wanna run away. So you gotta do hard shit. You gotta do hard shit because of that. You must. Because you deserve more than what you're like currently giving yourself. Because of the beliefs you have in your mind. Those are limitations. The amount of love you can get, the amount of comfort, the amount of friends, the amount of money, even though the money is bullshit, whatever the fuck, but still we need money. All of this. So this is my way of making money. And if you buy this, you support me, you get a cool thing, you can help people. We have a community. We ask why. There's nobody yet, but we're growing. And I want to build a community where we use these hoodies to power the community, to help everybody in there, to achieve their dreams, to be better themselves. And any knowledge we have, we just exchange. You know something about, I don't know, like therapy. You tell us, now we know something, we tell you, and we just grow like a symbiote or like an organism together up. Because let's be honest, if you feel different, if you are questioning stuff, you feel alone. I felt alone for the fucking longest time, and I felt so different, and I felt like something was wrong with me because people pushed me away for being different, and now I feel shame for who I am. And if I was in a community that actually loved each other and supported and actually, like praised and just, helped and was loving, well, things would have been different. So this is what I'm trying to build. And the vision is so far that maybe even like build fucking cabins in the woods and grow produce and grow animals and just be natural, because this is what we actually need. We are creatures, we are animals. This is how we're supposed to live. All this shit that we're doing right now is so unnatural. That's why we're falling apart. That's why our mentals are shit, right? We're using drugs that we don't need. We're eating shit that wasn't even existing before us. We're sitting all day. Like right now I sat for like fucking 3 or 2 hours right now. That's not good for me. We're supposed to be walking, squatting, crawling, climbing, push-ups, parkour, all of this shit, but instead we fuck ourselves up. So I want to build a community where people heal and grow. To further my point is that there is a lot of self-help communities, but they're never united. It always feels separate. And that's selfish, right? Because people are like, oh, well, this is my community and I don't want to merge with anyone else. I'm doing exactly the same. I'm creating a new community. Why don't I just go to somebody else's and be like, hello, I'm going to rule your community? That's not how it works. But I want to unify anybody and everybody who wants to grow, who feels different, and who wants to do better in the world and to be better themselves. To be more than just monkeys with just, addiction, pleasure this, pleasure that. So if you believe in the vision, subscribe, join the Discord, figure out how to do it. You're smart enough, you're capable enough. And let's fucking do this, goddammit, because I'm fucking sick and tired of shallow shit, and I want people who are my people. Again, about the hoodies. They're not the quality that I want, honestly. I want to make them better, but there's no money. I quit my job to do this because I really believe in this and I don't want to slave away anymore. So I'm kind of running low on money and I need support. So I want to give you at least something. So there you go. So what can you do all about this? You have every single insight, everything that you need to know. Maybe not everything, but like the most important stuff, because it came into my mind. What can you do about it? The most powerful thing and the most hardest thing is to journal. Meditate and do nothing. Those 3 things. Those really help me. Meditation is basically just taking all the shit that you've been suppressing because, well, you don't want to feel pain, and actually letting it come up. And whenever this pain comes up, let it be. Learn from it. Accept it. Accept reality. Because if you keep running away from it, you'll never heal. Accept. Like, for example, accept that maybe you are weak and stop being angry. Like, accept that you're weak. And once you accept it, then you can become strong, actually, and not just pretend that you are. And, oh boy, this one is a fucking banger. Be honest. Be honest with the truth. Stop lying to yourself. Stop being fake. Stop trying to make it okay or make it like, just be honest with what you want, who you are, and what's going on inside of you. Stop ignoring like, oh, I'll never be good enough, even though inside of you are like, I'm the fucking boss, I'm the fucking man, what the fuck, or the woman or the baby. So accept that part of you and then say, yeah, I am. Stop lying to yourself. Stop making yourself small just to please people, to get permission to be yourself. The end goal is to always be yourself no matter what. That's your end goal. You want to be yourself. So figure out why you're not being yourself. What's stopping you from it? So journaling. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how I journal. And it's going to be super fucking personal, but I'm going to explain everything. The way I do, the way I think, the way it makes sense. It's going to be a masterclass because I've been journaling for like 4 or 5 years now. Second, sitting and doing nothing. That's also an amazing thing for your brain, because we were supposed to be bored in nature. There were no phones, there were no PCs, there were no books, there were no movies, there were no music. So just sitting and doing nothing, you fighting against yourself and seeing what comes up. Accept any emotion that comes up and be like, oh, this is here. Accept it. Oh, I think I'm a loser. That hurts your ego because it wants to be important, but accept it. I'm a loser. But then you can ask, why? Why am I? What made me feel this way? What happened to me? Remember, you were born a blank slate before. And then meditation to feel good vibes, to chill out, and also to let bad emotions resurface. I gotta tell you, this is gonna be a really hard journey, but it's the only thing that will actually help you. You can lock yourself away in a cabin and do journaling for the rest of your life, and that's what's gonna fulfill you. Awareness alone heals. If you're just aware of what's wrong with you, why do you feel the way you do, just question it to the root. Another cool thing is that some of these emotions are stored in our body. For example, for me, I feel it in my hips, in my stomach and lower area, then like cheeks, jaw is anger, throat is suppressed emotions, blockage here. Like, my face feels tight all the time, and I don't know what that is yet, but I'm gonna figure out. Also, learn body language. It's super fucking cool. You can see how you feel in certain situations the way you are just sitting. For example, this is like blocking yourself off. Or like, this is soothing yourself, picking at shit, depending. Like, if you're like picking until it hurts, you have self-destructive tendencies. Maybe you feel shame. There's so much. And, oh yeah, pleasure won't save you. Hard things will save you. Doing hard things. Journaling is a hard fucking thing. And journaling is not like, oh, I ate breakfast today, my tummy hurt a little bit, and I farted. Haha. No. It's more like, why am I broken, and why didn't my parents love me, and was there actually wrong with me, and if there is, why do I think that is? That's how you journal. Okay, well, if I've forgotten anything, I'm gonna add it in the post-production editing. I hope I helped you. Type in the comments. Let's connect. Let's build a community that actually helps one another and not just benefits one fucker on top. So I love you. I hope the best for you, and I see you later, I hope.